Bread is a daily staple, but many UK loaves are ultra-processed. Today I expose 7 bread brands you should avoid and the healthier choices you can switch to. Marks & Spencer trades almost entirely on trust. Clean food, higher standards. A brand that asks you to pay more because it claims to do better. That's exactly why M&S tops this list. In June 2024, investigators from the Real Bread campaign examined M&S bread rolls marketed with bold front-of-pack claims reading only 5 ingredients. The claim targets health-conscious shoppers willing to pay premium prices. But when the ingredient list was checked, researchers found between 11 and 15 ingredients. Trading Standards opened a formal investigation. Birmingham City Council is now examining whether M&S violated consumer protection law. The deception relies on technical manipulation. M&S counts multi-flour as a single ingredient, even though it contains multiple distinct flours. On the front, the label signals simplicity. On the back, complexity is quietly buried. The same tactic is used with sourdough branding. While the packaging suggests long fermentation, the ingredient list reveals dried fermented flour, an inactive powder that delivers none of sourdough's digestive or metabolic benefits. But the misrepresentation goes further. M&S markets its in-store bakeries with phrases like "baked in store today" and "always sold on the day they are baked." Yet in June 2024, staff at an M&S store in Beckenham admitted the bread arrives frozen from an industrial facility in Wrexham, producing around 75,000 loaves per week. The bread is thawed and reheated, not made on site. That isn't marketing exaggeration. That's systematic deception, now under official investigation. Allinson was founded by Dr. Thomas Allinson, a Victorian health reformer who fought against flour adulteration in the 1890s. His philosophy was uncompromising. When grain is milled, nothing must be removed and nothing added. That principle built the brand. Modern Allinson represents its complete opposite. Now owned by Allied Bakeries, part of Associated British Foods, Allinson uses high-speed roller milling, synthetic additives, and the Chorleywood bread process, an industrial method that reduces fermentation from 24 hours to just 3.5 using aggressive mixing, excess yeast, fats, and chemical dough conditioners. When the Real Bread campaign asked Allinson simple questions about fermentation time and processing aids in its sourdough products, the company refused to answer. Their response was blunt. They would not comment on their baking process. Here's why. UK law allows manufacturers to add up to 15 enzymes per loaf without declaring a single one on the label. They are classed as processing aids. But research published in Clinical and Experimental Allergy proves fungal alpha amylase remains active in bread crust after baking. It causes allergic reactions, oral swelling, and digestive irritation. A brand founded to fight adulteration now profits from secrecy. Number 3. Warburton's is Britain's biggest baker, producing over 2 million bakery products every day using the Chorleywood bread process. Yet its marketing still leans on family tradition and heritage. The original farmhouse loaf contains calcium propionate preservative, emulsifiers E471 and E472E, palm oil, soy flour, ascorbic acid, and undeclared processing aids. Calcium propionate is especially concerning. Harvard researchers demonstrated that doses equivalent to several slices of bread triggered spikes in stress hormones that raise blood glucose, even without sugar intake. Chronic exposure caused insulin resistance and weight gain. Warburton's sourdough range is even more deceptive. Marketed as healthier and priced almost double standard bread, it costs little more to produce and still relies on preservatives and industrial shortcuts. Despite extended shelf life claims, consumer complaints about mouldy loaves before their best before dates are widespread. Warburton's didn't accidentally industrialize bread, it perfected it, then sold the result as tradition. Number 4. Hovis markets rustic imagery and strength of the nation since 1886. In reality, it has been passed between private equity owners since 2014. Its bread reflects financial efficiency, not heritage. Products marketed as signature sourdough contain baker's yeast, emulsifiers, preservatives, palm fat, and ascorbic acid. The Advertising Standards Authority has repeatedly rejected complaints against Hovis, including rulings in 2009, 2019, and 2024, allowing products containing synthetic emulsifiers to be marketed as rustic and traditional. This isn't consumer protection, it's regulatory capture. Large population studies link emulsifiers like E471 to increased cardiovascular disease risk and gut microbiome damage. Yet Hovis continues to sell industrial bread wrapped in rural fantasy, shielded by regulators meant to protect the public. Number 5. Tesco. The premium illusion. Tesco's bread range exposes how meaningless premium has become. Budget and finest loaves share nearly identical additive profiles. Calcium propionate, emulsifiers, refined oils, ascorbic acid. The difference is branding and price. Tesco charges up to 120% more for finest loaves that still use industrial fermentation and dried fermented flour instead of real sourdough. An ASA ruling already found Tesco guilty of misleading in-store bakery claims, yet the marketing continues. Same bread, same additives, higher price. Number 6. Owned by Allied Bakeries, Kingsmill benefits from the same enzyme loopholes as Allinson. Allied openly lists flour treatment agents on flour packaging, but Kingsmill bread labels remain silent because enzymes are classed as processing aids. Research shows enzymes like alpha amylase survive baking and trigger allergic and digestive reactions. Kingsmill's 50/50 loaf uses the same preservatives, emulsifiers, oils, and processing methods as standard white bread, only at a higher price. Calcium propionate across the range has been shown to disrupt glucose regulation and promote insulin resistance. Kingsmill doesn't promise purity, it promises familiarity, and that's how the most opaque bread in Britain becomes a daily habit. Number 7. Roberts. Family image. Corporate reality. Roberts marketed itself as a fourth-generation family bakery rooted in Cheshire tradition. In reality, it operated large-scale industrial facilities supplying thousands of retailers nationwide. When investigated, Roberts declined to answer questions and withdrew advertising under scrutiny, avoiding accountability. After a major fire in administration in 2025, the founding family lost control of the company, yet the marketing remained unchanged. The image of family baking continues long after the family itself disappeared. Now, imagine bread that actually nourishes. Bread that fills you, fuels you, and doesn't leave your gut screaming for relief. Real bread, slow fermented, honest, simple ingredients, incredible flavor. Biona Organic quietly demonstrates that supermarket bread can actually be good. At first glance, it may not look extraordinary. A simple loaf on a shelf, unassuming, unbranded by flashy marketing. But every slice tells a story about what bread was meant to be. Simple, nourishing. The ingredients are short and transparent. Organic flour, water, yeast, a pinch of salt. No emulsifiers, no preservatives, no artificial chemicals. Unlike industrial bread, which is engineered for shelf life, speed, and softness, Biona relies on natural processes to achieve texture and flavor. That simplicity is deceptive because the effects are profound. Fermentation plays a starring role here. Unlike factory bread, which is pushed through the system in a matter of hours, Biona bread takes its time. Yeast and natural bacteria slowly break down starches and gluten, transforming the dough into a loaf that digests slowly and steadily. Energy remains stable. Hunger is delayed, and your body actually absorbs nutrients instead of being overwhelmed by refined starches. But it's not just science. There's flavor, there's aroma, with a depth that industrial bread simply can't replicate. And that flavor is functional. It signals to your body that this is food, something your gut recognizes as nourishing. Where mass-produced bread leaves you hungry again in half an hour, Biona keeps you satisfied. And when you look at it shelf side, you start to realize this is a supermarket loaf doing what should be normal. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, no chemical tricks. Number 2. Waitrose Duchy. The grain is carefully sourced, grown in soils untouched by harsh chemicals. nurtured by farmers who understand that quality begins long before it hits the mill. The flour is coarse, the structure intact, the loaf alive in the way real bread should be. No emulsifiers, no preservatives, no added vitamins, just food and process in harmony. Fermentation is slow, deliberate and profound. The yeast and naturally occurring lactobacilli work in tandem to break down starches, release flavors. You feel full, not overstuffed, not unsatisfied. Gut irritation is minimized. And on the palate, there is an earthy richness, a subtle tang, and a chewiness that rewards attention. The kind of bread that makes you pause, appreciate the bite, and understand the difference between food and product. Waitrose Duchy, it's about respect. For the grain, for the baker, and for your body.